Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to ZBrush Live. Making sure that my story is uploading, everything's okay. How's everybody doing today? Can you guys hear me okay? Hope so. Hey, Virgil. Hey, Golden Groove. Foggy. Balboa. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Wonderful Sunday we got. Here you go. We got here. Oh, I forgot to change the title here. There you go. Yeah. Agora você tem todo o poder. So, um, I am torn between two different sculpts for today. So, regardless of what I choose, I want to try to spend the next 4 hours or so getting it all the way done to be printable. So, like, I could, like, theoretically, if I wanted to, print it overnight tonight, which would be super cool. So, I would love to do that. But I'm torn between two ideas, and I would love for you to help me out. All right. Both ideas are very similar. The first idea is basically the both are a bust of a creature. First one is a unicorn, like a cute little unicorn. And if we choose unicorn, we're going to do how to put it, like the same type of unicorn, the same type of horse as I did on my very first ZBrush live stream many years ago, which is like I forgot what it's called. It's like an Arabian. It's got the upturned snout. That is option one. Option two is some sort of like mystical bull creature. Can we see what you have today? Well, right now I have nothing. Those are just the two ideas that I have for today. Either way, we're going to start from scratch. So basically, the choice is horse or cow. I was almost going to do a fish today. I suppose that's still also an option. Regardless of what we do, I would love for us to take it all the way to completion, high poly, get it printable. And then I would love, like, that would be my little mini goal, is to like have a 3D print tonight going, and then wake up tomorrow morning and have a 3D print done. That would be the ideal goal. So let's Google Arabian horse together. They are very funky. I'm going to change the way I'm sharing my screen so you guys can see it. And let's put together a reference board. First thing I always do is go to Tool and I change the size to large. That way all the photos that I'm seeing are high enough definition. What if you feel like you have the most crazy horns? Two people have voted for unicorn, which means unicorn wins in my book. So, um, perhaps later in the stream I can show you guys why this particular type of horse is um, special. But basically, I did one on my very first ZBrush stream here on this channel. It was 4 years ago or something like that, which feels crazy because, like, I never thought of myself as somebody who would do this for 4 years. But here we are. Here we are celebrating. So I'm putting all the images in this PureRef board. I love PureRef. Trying to get some good images if possible. These aren't like the same type of horse, are they? It's a little pixelated, but I'll put it in here for until something better comes along. I really like the type of unicorns that are like um kind of like the more creature style unicorn, like with like goat hooves and lion's tail, like the medieval unicorn. I like those more than the traditional modern like horse with a horn. I'm also thinking I should put some flowers around it. Let's just Google real fast unicorn images. There we have the concept right here. Basically a stylized horse in real life. No, no, so lá, tudo bem? Unicorn concept art. Hopefully we find something slightly better. I love it. I love that. See, this is why I hate Pinterest. Because every single freaking one of these basically is like Pinterest based, and then you don't see the original artist site, you see Pinterest instead. I think it's really, really not good, as far as all of that is concerned. So I just want like a flower crown um, for my unicorn. Oh, on a horse. Gorgeous. It actually looks a little funky on a horse. We'll just make it work, right? We can use our own artistic license here for this one. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to properly print out a flower crown. So I just need to give the flowers a lot of thickness, I suppose. Although I do think my printer could figure it out either way. I think I might have enough to get started, and then I can just supplement as we go. How does that sound? To cut the pictures, you just select it, press C, and then drag. It's pretty nice. First thing I like to do is organize my board, if I'm gonna be honest, like getting everything around the same size. I only need like head and neck. I can take off a lot of the extra unnecessary space here. There's like the white Arabian horses, which is kind of like Arabian horsey. It is a horsey, isn't it? Funky little face. What do you guys think? Like, I do think it's. Look, that's really majestic. This is where we start getting distracted, isn't it? Anyway, let's continue. I'll just close temporarily the uh, the window here, but I still have it tab. Oop, and then open my other thing. Is Pura free or paid software? So it's free, but you can leave a donation when you buy it. I don't know what Bud Stallion is. Eternal Games, how are you doing today? I'm gonna start by turning on symmetry and probably hitting make polymesh 3D. Always a good, great, awesome place to start, if you ask me. We're basically already done, right? I can tell this is a horse anyway. I'm gonna change my mask to mask lasso. And while we get started with the blockout, I'll introduce myself for those of you who have never been to my stream before. Hey everybody, my name's Ana Carolina Pereira. I am a Brazilian 3D artist, specifically a 3D technical artist, VR developer, and character artist. I have 7 years in industry experience. Um, I have a major, a bachelor's in game art and design. My specialties and my focus are truly the games industry and VR. I personally consider them to be very the same. Um, but some people would argue, and that's okay. I currently am a college professor at the Ringling College of Art and Design here in Florida. And I've been doing the stream for like 4 years. I think I started at the very beginning of 2018. You guys do the math on that one. 4 years. Over 4 years now. Which is crazy. And I've been reflecting on that a little bit ever since the stream began because I'm doing the same type of horse that I did whenever I did my very, very first stream here on this channel. And I'll tell you what, I was so nervous. I was so nervous, but I was so also so lucky to like have a supporting group of people that were there and watching and like kind of cheering me on, you know. Definitely couldn't have done it without them. Um, Give the heart's a little smile. Definitely we gotta reset that brush though, because I was messing with it earlier. I'm always resetting my Demian standard. I don't know how this ended up there. It's great. I've been teaching teaching professionally for 2 years now, which is crazy to me because I feel like I just started. For those of you who don't know, like I got my first like official teaching job right in the middle of the pandemic, and because the pandemic makes time feel weird, right? Like being in we call it like being in lockdown, being at home. It just made time go by really fast. And actually there's a phenomenon that like explains why that happens. It's like whenever you get into a routine and you experience less new things, time starts feeling like it's going by faster. And I'm sure a lot of you guys felt that as well. Um, PureF is such an overwhelmingly amazing program. I so back that up. I love PureF. It just changes everything. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and mask. Maybe I'll mask pen instead. Where the neck's gonna come from. I'm gonna add a little neck. Starting to look like the model I made. Was it last week that I did the Loch Ness monster? I feel like I'm still in 2019. Same. We show us a comparison at the end of the stream. Yeah, sure. Today I'm streaming for 4 hours, so we'll definitely be able to do that. But you're gonna have to remind me at the end because I will forget. And now we adjust all these problems that we've created for ourselves. Is the Loch Ness monster done? It's like done. Like done. As in like I've already released a TikTok and I'm never gonna touch it again. Done. That's about as done as I was ever gonna get, probably. Um, what I'm doing is I'm trying to like slowly adjust each one of the views, make sure to turn perspective on, because like every photo has perspective, right? At least in my reference board right now. Um, and just kind of like slowly but surely adjust stuff till eventually it becomes more horse-like. Of course, we can't forget the iconic shapes of the horse. Little strange little horse shapes. Boa noite, Chiquinha, tudo bem? We're little by little I'm going to use Dynamesh today. I always go for the lowest possible um, amount, just in case. And we can navigate through the ugly phase together. Looks like a little cartoon horse, right? So far, anyway. Maybe. Asid says, how do you know when to move on from this step? Do you get a sense or spirit from the model? I move on from this step whenever first all of the parts are assembled. So like I'll stop using Dynamesh, for example, when the ears are in, like the eyelids are in, things like that. Um, so all of the parts are present is the first thing I look for. And if I've refined it just enough where it's like recognizable and things like that is also very important. Hi, Carlos. I wonder how long it took to make the horses in Red Dead. I would imagine that making the horses in Red Dead took the whole development period time, basically, because like they kept adding, as far as I can tell, they kept adding more horse features to that game, right? Like all of the different little horse things that happens in the game. I imagine they just every time they had like a time off or something, they were straight up adding more horse things to it. 3D Herman, I'm glad you're here at all, though. Thank you for coming. Kind of trying. I don't know for sure if I have a good grasp yet on the shapes that are necessary in this area, but we'll figure it out. Lower those eyes. Push in that snout. Just whenever I think I'm done pushing that snout in, we just push it in more. So eventually it's gonna be pushed it enough. I'm definitely getting the urge to start using a lot of clay buildup, so we're gonna go do that in a second. But yeah. Let's go ahead and block in some ears. I either append in a new sphere or I just go to, if I don't have subdivisions, I'll just go to insert primitives, choose a random sphere, try to get it kind of in the position. Oop. Local symmetry. You guys know what anti-fragile means? I've always been the best person at bringing up a new topic. So how do you guys know what anti-fragile means? Who knows? I mean, you guys have access to Google. Today I saw a article, no, it was a YouTube video thumbnail, and it said like become anti-fragile. And that is a word I haven't thought about in a long time. But um, I believe an anti-fragile thing, and you guys can Google this to try to like improve the definition. But I believe an anti-fragile thing is something that's so a fragile thing is like if you like knock it off a shelf or something, it breaks, it's broken forever, right? can't really handle stress or impact, right? But an anti-fragile thing is actually the exact opposite, and the more stress and impact it receives, the stronger it becomes. I can't think of any like real life examples, right, of what anti-fragile is, but I think the idea of becoming anti-fragile is quite compelling, and I suppose that can be the first big topic of the day. Because the human brain, I believe it's like it can be extremely anti-fragile. You know, the more you go through, the stronger you can become, but it can also be the other way. And I suppose the goal, metalwork by hammer, yes. I suppose the goal is like to always become stronger through your difficulties, not weaker. And you know, it's a real tough thing, right? Um, I face this a lot on the fly when I'm streaming. So different things will happen in life that will make me feel fragile, so to speak, right? Um, that will upset me or whatever. But a lot of times those things also happen on stream, and then I'm just caught in a weird situation, or all of a sudden, shoot, I have an audience, right? And like my energy is thrown off. I feel weird. What do I do in that case? Right? So like I have only two options. I can become upset and kind of like ruin the rest of the stream, which I've done like probably 60 times. Or I can move on, be stronger. And I think like it's a kind of a conscious decision, isn't it? Have you guys ever made that conscious decision of like moving on from something that's upsetting you and all of a sudden you don't feel so upset? Please let me know in the comments. I know it's a weird question, but yeah, things like that. Like, you know, when you're streaming and whatnot, their energy is so important. I keep getting asked all the time how to be a streamer, and I would say that like energy management, if it's probably one of the biggest things you're going to do. You know, like because anything can can like wreck your energy. You know, um, and then what do you do for the rest of your stream? You know, do you stay mad? I do it every day. That's so cool, Dark and Grim. What are your tricks? Tell us your tricks. If I wasn't so stubborn. I know people like that. I'm mad because I am stubborn. And I will not be unmad. Can't make me not be mad. I heard a grind speak of getting better at failing is a big part of growing artistically. Oh my god, Lou, so true. So true. Because failing is just a part of the process. And I really wish we weren't so afraid of failing, right? Because being afraid of failing, it doesn't actually make you less prone to failing. It actually only makes you less prone to trying, right? That's the only difference. Mohammed, there are 125 people watching right now. What are you talking about? I'm trying to be nasty. Um, but anyway, so if you're afraid of fail, you only stop trying, right? So that's like a huge problem. I saw this quote, I think it was on TikTok of all places, but like TikTok has some like good advice if you follow the right people. Anyway, where they were like, if you want to get successful faster, you need to like double or triple the amount of failure that you allow in your life. I what do you say? I hate failing, but failing has made me learn in my career, and I think I'll fail a lot more, but then I will learn even more. TikTok only has good advice because they're getting it somewhere else. I mean, isn't that everything? Do you want every person that ever gives you advice to get it from somewhere brand new every time? Let me reset this brush as well. Yesterday I was doing a bunch of crazy stuff to brushes, and now they're all messed up. I start kind of carving in some new stuff. Me check. Failure is what separates the fake from the real. Hey, Same. It's good to see you. I feel like it's been a while. Side effects. I'm glad you like the breed. I think that I'd be super comfortable in life sculpting horses at this point. Got to kind of make the whole mouth area more delicate. Possible. And obviously, it's possible. I usually know what I want in terms of quality, so unless I can do somewhat similar to that, then I'm happy. So wait, so like if you can't reach that quality, you're not happy, is that what you're saying? Oscar, there's a great saying, no one ever invents anything, they're just recycling old ideas and making their own versions. So true. So true. It's quite like arrogant of us to think we are the first people doing anything, right? When there's been billions of people before us. Slim them down. Definitely need to lengthen, compress. Oop, not too much. Vai ser um unicórnio. Só que por enquanto eu tô só blocando de leve. Just doing the bust. Right. If I cannot reach the quality I want, which is usually something I compare to or an image I have in my head, I just continue to improve whatever it is I'm lacking until I reach my goal. Imagine if we were too scared to fail while we were learning and how to walk and standing up as babies. Gladly, babies and kids do not know that word. Right? So true. So I don't know how, like, something wrong went on with my music today. Are you doing the whole horse? No. Gonna insert some quick eyeballs just to kind of help me plan out that area. Okay, then I'm going to split unmasked points and continue from there. Doesn't look so good yet, but we'll get there for sure. There's plenty of time to little by little get there. And then for those of you who weren't here before, the goal is to get this into a printable state by the time I'm done with today's streams, which I'm really excited for. Besides, there's no success in life, just accomplishment, milestones. You get there and you move on to the next thing. It's so true. We're never satisfied, that's for sure. If we can just realize that, maybe life would be more peaceful. Take down my smoothing intensity as well. It's a little strong. Which artist, past or present, do you admire and why? Oh gosh. Um, I admire a lot of different artists. Like some of my favorite, and it depends. Like there's so many different categories. You know, there's like character artists, sculptors, painters, concept artists. Like I don't even know where to start. um, but I'd say that my most influential right now are um, Bobby Chu, Zilangzhu. I haven't really been, I haven't been really trying to absorb other people's arts lately. I'm trying to kind of take a break from consuming and I'm focusing more on producing these past few weeks. It's like my brain is emptied of of artists lately. What do you mean when you refer to failure? Is it that your work didn't get approved by other people? No, it's very subjective. Failure for different people are different things, right? And it can take 1,000 shapes, you know. Like sometimes people will be afraid of applying for a job because they think they won't, are not going to get it. You know, in that case, the failure would be not getting a job, but you're actually only hurting yourself and your career prospects by avoiding that potential failure, you know? Um, like those are moments where you need to embrace every outcome and not let the fear of rejection, failure, whatever control you. And it's like a whole other topic, but you know, like somebody who does what I do, like, you know, I have a mentorship program. I talk to people going through these struggles every day. And, you know, you'd be surprised, or maybe not, depending on your life story, but like you'd be surprised at how many people just would rather avoid the possibility of failure versus just embracing the possibility of it happening, because normally, like, it happening is just one of the possible outcomes, and it can be a huge benefit for you to try, you know? It would be one of those scenarios where becoming, quote, anti-fragile would be the ideal for you or for me and for all of us, you know? Um, we can't avoid suffering. I mean, we can try to avoid suffering in every way, but to avoid suffering, I think, is also to avoid progress indirectly, right? Because, for example, like you could like somebody. Let's say you have a crush on somebody, right? And you don't ask them out because you're afraid of rejection. Like if you don't ask, the answer is automatically no, and you're kind of missing out on what could have been a good possibility just because you are too scared of the word no, right? And we all go through this at some point, I think. A lot of us, anyway. Kind of, again, like you don't want to take a chance. You don't want to apply for the promotion. You don't want to apply for the job. Some people don't even want to post on social media their work because it's not good enough yet, right? Or they don't want to, they want to start streaming, but they don't think they're good enough yet. So I'm not going to start streaming until I'm good enough. Otherwise, I'm going to embarrass myself. Or in my case, like I put off starting a YouTube channel for a while because I just didn't feel ready, and I thought it was going to go bad. Um, it happens. So like that's what I mean by failure, I suppose. It's like I guess it's the opposite of whatever you want it to happen in that case. So like if you wanted to sell a painting or something and you didn't, that could be considered the failure, quote. I have learned that all good things in my life would only happen if other not so good would have happened as well. It's so true. And I embrace everything that happens in my life. Yeah, me too. It's so funny, right? I've told like multiple times the story of how I got my first work visa. And it literally happened because somebody tried to sabotage my career. Um, and they wanted to get me deported, but they ended up getting me a easy peasy work visa that I didn't even need to ask for. And in the moment, I was so mad, and like I felt betrayed. But then it turned out so much better. The best quote from on failure for me is, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways it won't work." Thomas Edison. That is a good one. I fear success more than failure. Oh yeah. Success in many cases changes a person and it's often not in the good direction. Oh my lord. I feel like yeah, if you have that belief, then you're probably going to stop yourself from being successful, right? If you think success is a bad thing, then you'll probably like sabotage whenever you get there. I definitely don't think that's necessarily true. Like a person can become a horrible person no matter what. Success, no success. Take it from a guy who was really ill because he let stress be foremost in his life until it made him so sick he almost died for it. Oh gosh, sorry, Oscar. You can avoid suffering by seeing things from a different perspective, finding the good in the bad. Yeah. Starting to look like a horse, right? Like it's like partially horse-like. There's something horsey about it. Teve uma formação fora do Brasil, sim. Eu fiz faculdade fora do Brasil. É, de arte, de games. Hi, David. How you doing today? And will tell me about it. Oscar, success is a dangerous illusion. It's the killer of growth. But sooner or later, you get the chance to hit the bottom of the barrel, and then it's nothing but opportunities. Sounds like karma kicks your saboteur where they deserved it in their ego. It hit them more than just the ego. But yeah, moment of silence for their ego. I had a whole conversation with a mentee this week about our egos, right? Everybody has an ego, like normal. It's part of the mind, right? Um, so my mentee tells me like, Anna, like I hesitate to send my work out to be critiqued. I'm afraid of critiques, even though I know I need them, because they make me feel bad. Like they were basically hurting his feelings, right? Which, if you're getting the critique from the right person, you should know that critiques are not meant to hurt your feelings. Like theoretically, critiques should be fair. I like to think that I'm a fair critiquer because like I don't make things personal most of the time. Sometimes, I try not to make things personal. You know, I've had a couple of people like make my critiques that they've given me personal. You know, which is like a whole topic I'm always talking about. You guys know this. Like, if if somebody, for example, like tells you that you should just give up on your career when they're giving you a critique, then probably not the most fair, objective critique you've ever gotten, right? Like, you don't have to listen to that person's definitely going through some things. Some people will definitely be too harsh like that, or like straight up, they'll try to, cull out the competition or something. I don't know what they're trying to do when they say stuff like that. Um, but anyway, yeah. So my mentee was feeling insecure and like like his feelings were getting hurt during critiques, which I believe like I went through that at the very beginning of my art career. I felt really insecure over art critiques. Thank you, Richard. I figured, but I was being polite. Oscar, please refrain from giving too many feedbacks, especially as I'm just starting the process. I'm doing a Arabian horse. Big difference between this is awful and here's some changes you can make. Yeah. Sometimes, like not every art you're ever going to critique is good, but there's always like a nice, like kind way to say things, you know? But let's say, right, he was receiving mostly constructive criticism, then what does a person do to get their ego to walk out of the way, basically, so that they can go back to receiving feedbacks fully understanding that nothing's personal, and at the end of the day, like if your art isn't perfect, it doesn't make you less of a worthy human being, you know? Thank you, Oscar. I really appreciate feedback. I will be asking for it soon. It's just too soon. Like there's a lot of obvious issues with this. So like it's just distracts me a little bit. I do hard surface modeling, yes, Richard. The thing about critique is it's probably on you in terms of how you take the information on board. Oh yeah, that's so true. But also like having the wrong person's opinions on your mind could also be awful. Like I know people that would like lose years off of their careers because they listened to the wrong person and gave up, you know? Has anybody here ever been told to give up before? I think that's like such a crazy thing, in my opinion. Like who does that? And if you have been, I hope you didn't. And I hope you mailed the person a package full of glitter. Tons of times by yourself. But you didn't, did you? Never give up. Hey, Cantonius. It's good to see you. I think a little bit of H polish or trim dynamic could go a long way on this piece, especially the forehead. Maybe no, trim dynamic is better. I like that. Poor little horsey. My friend told me to give up. I realized later he was just insecure as a person. My dad did years ago. Sorry, Richard. If the feedback improves my vision, I'm all for it. Otherwise, I don't really care. Yeah. Unsolicited advice at least should be around this is how you might be have better chances to accomplish what you do, or here's an exit plan just in case. I'm trying to use other brushes as opposed to play buildup, and they're just not for me. No, I don't speak Spanish. I only speak Portuguese and English. Hannibal says, well, I was asked if I was trying to do this professionally or as a hobby when I didn't hand in the homework for a workshop. They explained if I was taking the class while on vacation. Great part is the class was recorded on demand to this day. Not giving unsolicited advice is a skill. It's extremely tempting to provide feedback if it wasn't requested. David, I have a trick to overpass those feelings. Transform them into anger. A diet of anger and coffee. I'll show them they are wrong. On the hierarchy of like feeling scales that I've seen, like anger is a healthier feeling than just sadness. But like Western societies don't like anger because it's too inconvenient for everybody else normally. So they're just like, don't be angry. But yeah, that's an option. It's a lot easier to be a critic than to do the actual work. Oh my God, so true. So true. Which is so funny. Like, do you guys ever watch the Food Network? Um, Sometimes, like there's a lot of judges on like the shows, because there's a lot of food competitions, and then every once in a while the judges will be on a different show cooking or something, and people won't like the food they made, and that's just so hilarious to me. Like, um, you know, um, your job is to tell people that their food sucks, basically, but your food isn't perfect either. Let's slenderize the neck situation we got going on here. Giant move brush. Then I gotta make sure to add some shoulders to this. Hi, Mac. Sometimes the best advice is none at all. I don't know if it's me, but I keep intermittently losing audio. Try refreshing. So sometimes this happens on Twitch. Like, just try refreshing the Twitch page. Um, I don't know why it would happen. If anybody else is noticing it too, let me know. They are all struggling. They'll be struggling on the Food Network. How do you decide when it's appropriate for you yourself at a certain level to provide feedback? I mean, not all opinions provide value, which is why I'm somewhat reluctant to say anything myself. Not specifically you, Anna, I mean people in general. Um, I suppose like the trick to giving feedback is to first wait for somebody to ask you your opinion, right? Like don't assume that everybody wants your opinion at all times. It can be pretty inappropriate actually to give unsolicited art critiques. Um, Most professionals do not like that. um, okay, so that's just the first thing. And I know it can be really hard, like especially like if you're a beginner, let's say you're at school or something, like that is literally an environment that's built around giving feedback, right? Um, so like you'll walk up to a student or like a student will walk up to a student, that's what I mean. And like be like, "Oh, great work. I would just do this." And like that's expected and that's normal a lot of times, but not in the real world, right? So like that's rule number one. Like no matter who you are, at what level you are, like just wait to be invited, so to speak, like a vampire. Wait to be invited so that you know for sure that they want your feedback. Normally that's all it takes. If somebody is asking you for your feedback, obviously they value your opinion in some way, right? Like, I don't ask for feedback from people whose opinions I don't want, you know? Um, so like that's just the very first thing, like you'll know it's your time, so to speak, when people start asking. They will naturally. Like, um, you know, you'll be in different, like his little helmet. You'll be in different Discord servers or something like that, and people will totally ask you for your opinion. Um, yeah. As far as like feeling like you're worthy to give it, like just, you know, as long as you follow good etiquette for giving feedback, you're good. Like, at the end of the day, it's up to the person if they're going to listen to your feedback or not. It's up to them how they're going to apply it. You can always give a caveat like, "Hey, like I don't know a lot about horses or something, but I'll try." Whatever, Horses is just on my mind right now. It doesn't have to be horses in this case. But yeah. So just use proper critique etiquette. The way I do my critiques is I try to sandwich positive feedback. I mean, I try to sandwich negative uh, feedback with positive feedback to make it more. I think people just listen more. Also, if they're not feeling like they're being um, exposed, like that they don't feel too vulnerable. So you start off with a good thing that you notice about the piece. So whatever you see that's good, start with that. Then maybe like one, two, or three more like here's things you need to work on, and then another good thing, then maybe like three other bad things, and then one more good thing, and then you finish on a good thing. That's what I like to do. That's just my thing. Like it's it's not bad. Sometimes like people, the only feedback I've gotten on my feedbacks is that sometimes I'm too nice. But I still think like I literally think it's just my tone. People want to get yelled at sometimes, I guess, but you can give any feedback without making it personal, without making it unconstructive, and um, without being rude. So, like, you don't have to yell, you don't have to do all this stuff like some people do. you know? Some people are living life a little too intensely, I guess, getting mad over feedback. Um, and then, of course, there's actually the etiquette of asking people for their feedback and receiving it, right? So let's talk about that as well, because that might be actually more pertinent. There are expected etiquettes for all this in the industries that we are in. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to, when you ask a professional for feedback, like let's say you're sending them like an Instagram or Discord message or something, right? And you're asking them for critique. You got to make sure you're polite, introduce yourself. You take into consideration the fact that they're busy, right? I know a lot of people that like hold these horrible, horrible grudges against these like online artists, like that are popular or busy or something, and like message him in 2017, get a feedback, and he never responded. Um, definitely to be forgiving because these people are busy a lot of times, and sometimes people make a living uh, teaching or giving feedback. So we gotta be really cognizant of that. Then when you're actually receiving the feedback, it's very important to take a role of listener, not speaker. And this is something we discuss a lot in school because a lot of students basically like run out the clock giving excuses of why they made the mistakes that they did. And, it leaves almost no time to get more feedback. That's definitely not the space for that, right? Like, whenever we're giving people feedback, we don't want to listen to all the reasons why it is the way it is. Like if somebody tells me the ears are too small or too big on this horse, if I spent the next half an hour going, well, like I know I made the ears a little small, and I guess it all started when I was 4. um, people listen more if they don't feel like they're under attack. Exactly, the ego is always there, right? Like the ego. I don't know. Like I had this I have, I've been insecure before, and I remember writing in my diary, like, I feel like my ego is just always under attack, and that's not the world's fault. Like, that's me being too sensitive. Definitely happens. It's quite complex. I just mean just general rules to art. No, I'm not talking about rules to art at all. I'm talking about etiquette when it comes to giving or receiving feedback. Can you guys think of anything I didn't cover? You're just flipping my horse, flipping over my horse over here. When giving feedback, don't yell at them that the chicken is so raw I could have crossed the road and back. What am I? An idiot sandwich. I like how when we were talking about feedback, everybody's mind just goes straight to like Food Network shows, food shows, because like they are so crazy on those, and that's just TV though, right? Like that's just TV. They yell because it brings in more viewers. Actually, like just as a little side note, like I watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, like restaurant, whatever, whichever one he goes to different restaurants and like their kitchens are dirty or whatever, and he fixes it. So in the first seasons, he was actually really nice, like, and he was never yelling at people. And then, like, as it gets taken over and he like goes to the USA and stuff, like, and becomes more Hollywoody, he starts yelling a lot more, and you can totally tell it's just to get more people watching and it's like brand and stuff like that. It's real hard. Are there evil unicorns? Maybe. What about social media etiquette? I feel like posting something to more than one or two subreddits, for example, already feels like spamming. I'm not huge on Reddit, so maybe somebody else can like let them know what the Reddit etiquette is. But like, as far as I know, like those aren't all connected, right? It's not like the same channel is getting spammed. It's like different places, right? Somebody who sees it somewhere might not see it elsewhere. We all secretly watch the Food Network or Network or what? The artist's official secret pastime. I have I like watching the Food Network when I'm on trips, like in a hotel. I don't know why, I just associate the two. I never watch Food Network at home. I don't think I ever have. It's just for hotels. But I guess like when it comes to social media, the etiquette would just be like seek to figure out what the culture and the rules are of the platform you're trying to participate in and just to some degree follow them. If you're gonna message a professional on social media, I definitely have some advice. um, you know, so the first thing is if you're messaging somebody you don't know on social media, definitely introduce yourself, right? Like, um, I think that's the main thing. It's just that, like, you guys might know, like, I receive a ton of social media messages every day, and um, I respond to as many as I can. I mean, speaking of which, I'm gonna pull up my social media links here real fast so that I can um, share it with you guys because I haven't this whole time. But the thing is like some people will just message me with "hello," and I literally have no idea how to respond. The- like, I it just confuses me a little bit sometimes. Like no introduction, no telling me what you want or what they want, no nothing. A little confusing for me. I don't feel like I even send my friends the word like hello only. Hi, hello, so how are you doing today? This totally does not count for streams, by the way, because obviously the stream is an open conversation. True. What about other social medias? I just need to try to be overplay. That's good, Anne. It's my mother's only channel. Food Network. Your mother knows how to live. Um, so other social medias. Again, yeah, every social media has kind of a culture and a goal to it. I recommend observing and utilizing as much as you can of that culture, right? So like for example, I participate in Instagram, although Instagram's dying, so becoming more irrelevant by the day. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, I think are my main social medias. And very distracted by a horse eye face. And on Twitter I just post like funny things or like educational things. I'll ask questions. Sometimes I'll post some things like slightly controversial. Like my biggest tweet recently was asking about something called open art tests, which we could have a whole other conversation about. Just basically like this like practice that I saw somebody doing. Um, and so that's what Twitter's for. Instagram is a more like curated place where you just post, your artwork or like time lapses of your artwork, um, selfies, whatever it is that you'd like to post. Just nice images, I suppose. Aesthetic is more important, for example. Let's shorten that mouth quite a bit. Not sure. All of a sudden, I'm not so sure my convictions of shortening the mouth. Um, every time I try to enter a new social media, I do a little bit of research. Like I just Google like how to use this or that. And then that normally tells you a little bit about the type of stuff you should be posting and whatnot. ZBrush and TikTok portrait only is a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, it is. It kind of is. So I have to like re-record everything like um with that in mind when I'm making TikTok. They're about, do you mean make free art for us and we only pay one of you? Yeah, basically. It's so shady. I personally do not like him. I gotta tell you guys, like, not to get into this whole conversation about open art tests, but the fact that I put out that question on Twitter and about like 30 to 40 people told me that they liked the idea and would gladly do art tests for everything really made me sad. It made me concerned, sad, and every other types of feelings that I could get in that moment. We're starting to get that slight Arabian look, which is good because I've been faffing around with this for too long. Hmm. See, my unrealistic expectations is that I can do a fully fletched, like veined up horse bust in an hour, and if I can't, then I'm a failure. Crowdsourcing, it's so immoral. I agree. Excited for any art events this year? Yeah. So I'm not participating in a hell of a lot of them. Brain not work. I'm not participating in much this year. I don't have any more art events planned. So I went to GDC, which is more like game developers, but it has a lot of art. I went to NAB, which was the National American. I don't know what the A stands for, but it was broadcasting. And if the ZBrush Summit happens in person, I'll try to go for sure. Z's. Um, but I don't know. Like I don't know. What other art events are there? I want to do more things though. I've been a little lame lately. Gotten so much older. You know, the pandemic stole so much time. I need to go do things. You know. We gotta do something about this little nose. Pinch brush. Yeah. The nostrils are just crazy. Monsterpalooza is next month, and then there's Lightbox. So Lightbox is one I would totally love to go, and maybe I will try. When is Lightbox? Can somebody tell me? I don't want to stop to Google right now. But um, I was just got asked earlier today what my most influential artists were, and like Bobby Chiu is 100% one of them. You guys know who Bobby Chiu is? He's the guy who made Lightbox, I think, right? Either that or he has like very close ties to it. I believe the T was that he got tired of what was it, like SIGGRAPH or Comic Con or something like that. Regardless, he didn't like one of the existing um events and he just made his own and now it's like one of the biggest ones. I don't know what base relief is, Chris Johnson. Is that something in ZBrush or is it a separate software? I remember doing an art test for one game company in the UK about 10 years ago for an environment artist position. I got the job, but quite happy to never have done one since then. They basically gave me some images in the concept work and left me with 40 work hours to model it out. October 14th, 16th. Oh, great. We're in the middle of the semester. Wonderful. Wonderful. Bobby Chiu's Legends. Oh, basically, okay. Thank you, Hannibal. I have not tried that new feature yet, actually. Hey, everyone, do you think... wait, never mind. Yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, Bobby Chiu. He is really inspiring, like, especially for those of us who not only try to build art, right? And have like art careers, but also like think more like an entrepreneur, which is definitely what I try, what I try to do. Because one of my long-term career goals is to never rely or like get to a point where I don't ever have to rely on a employer for my livelihood. I just don't want to live like that anymore, ever. You know, I'd still work for people, but like the thing is that when you rely on a paycheck from a company for your only mode of income, you become highly like exploitable less stable, right? Like we see it all the time. Even the people in our industry that are like the most popular or like that have worked in the most games, like they still get laid off like all the time, and stuff like that. And like I think it's just time to like no longer rely on that and like be okay if life takes a turn like that, you know? So people like Bobby Chu, they're definitely people to watch, um, because they've gone out and they've kind of created their own thing. You know, be it their own studios, their own very popular YouTube channels, um, events, you know, and not to mention like there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there in the art field, but the ones I admire personally are the ones that also enrich the community, which I believe he does very much because you know he's always teaching on YouTube and things like that. Um, yeah, that's why he was on my list earlier. Let's try to flesh out the neck ever so slightly more so that um it doesn't get totally forgotten. Red Horizon, that's really true. Happened to me back in March. I'm sorry, Horizon. Hopefully you're able to bounce back or everything's okay. Horse be sniffing. You should try the horse. Oi, boa noite. Estou espiando aqui, admirando e aprendendo com sorte. Obrigada. No, I agree more. I've learned so much from all the different streamers and YouTubers. It's insane how much free knowledge is out there. Yeah. Me too. I mean, needless to say, right? Like, I basically did my own ZBrush education and as a character artist just in general, and I never took a course. You know, like I was in college, of course, for game art and design, but I only took one class that had ZBrush. You know, and the rest was just me figuring it out as I went. Um, and was all thanks to YouTube teachers and tutorials. Although, like, whenever I was in college and like when I was getting into ZBrush, there weren't as many tutorials available. So, like, what they would do is that people would make tutorials, quote unquote, and it would just be a time lapse recording of them working, and then I just slow it down and try to figure out what the heck they were doing because I couldn't tell. Unless I love ZBrush, but imagine figuring out that tool without any help. Honestly, like, no, there's just a lot to figure out. Like, I keep learning new things, and I'm like, wow, where was this 40 years ago? ZBrush wasn't even around that long, I think. We've made some progress, though. I've been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes or so. Actually, an hour and 15 minutes, and yeah, not bad. Let me set a timer for when the stream ends and the next one begins. Let's flesh out some ears real fast. I make so many ears, guys. Like I, every single time I make an ear, I'm like, man, I've made a lot of ears. I should just make like an ear pack for myself and just reuse them. And then every time I forget, and I'm like, I'll just do this last one by hand. And then like later tonight, I'll do the pack, and then again forget. I never do it until the next time I'm doing ears, and I'm like, shoot, I should have done that pack. Okay, I'll do this one ear by hand, and then I'll get the pack done later. I've already done this like a million times. I'm in the progress of doing it right now. It's it's quite great. But if you're gonna take some advice from me today, it's don't do this. Do instead to make your own bags for stuff, like sell stuff and reuse it and all of that. I'm listening to Brazilian sad songs. Maybe that's why the topics today have been a little dark. They're not like dark dark. They're just kind of like life lessons darks. You know what I mean? I hope you guys don't mind. I think like sometimes we need to talk about these things, um to be, smarter, take care of ourselves. It's important to discuss. Oh no, the backside. Saying this is a certified boomer, do you think it's more difficult for someone who's older getting into the industry? Also saying this is general ZBrush appreciator, but maybe one day. Oh, let me power up for this conversation. Make sure to stretch your arms, kids. So important. I have carpal tunnel from working too much on the computer and stuff. Do not hurt your arms. Do not hurt your nerves, shoulder, back, neck, arms. Really don't do it. Like just take the moment to take a break once an hour or so and stretch. That's my only advice. So as a certified boomer, is it harder for older folks to get into the industry? Yes and no. Okay, so let me explain. So, um, for the longest time, my position was it is not because it's an art field, right? At the end of the day, they're going to look at your portfolio and things like that before anybody even brings you in for an interview or to like do some freelance, whatever. Okay. Um, so it's not an age game. I always used to say arts is or this field is not a contact sport. Like it's not like boxing or anything. Like being older is not a disadvantage. However, ever since I started my mentorship program, by the way, I have one spot left this month. I'm gonna put the link in chat. One-on-one mentorships with me. Let's work on your everything. Anyway, um, I've been working with older folks a lot of the time, and I have come to realize one factor in which being older is a disadvantage. And I'm gonna tell you it is now, but it's not universal. It's only for a few people. A lot of people that are older, not even like boomer age, right? Like older, just established people that are parents, people that have a household to upkeep, people that have responsibilities, probably established careers elsewhere. Um, they will, finally follow their dream of becoming a 3D artist, character artist, whatever. Okay. The age doesn't matter because it's all about where you start and then how long it takes from there. Right? Like, so, like, it might take 3 years to get your first job, whether you're 50 or 19. Okay. However, I've come to find that there is one thing, which is if you are already established in a career, then to become full time in this, you're probably going to take kind of a step down from income earnings, things like that. So I am like, my brain is lost, but uh, I had this one mentee who was had a very successful career in electricity, kind of like oil and gas stuff. Okay, and he was making a certain amount of money, good amount of money. He had multiple kids, a wife, a house, mortgage, all this stuff, okay, that he needed to upkeep. It was his responsibility as the main earner of the household to upkeep their lifestyle, okay? But he wanted to give up on his career in oil and gas and come and become a ZBrush artist. And it was totally possible and not a disadvantage. He was at the same spot as any of the younger ones, sure. It would take him as much time to get work ready as anybody else. However, entry level positions in 3D are much lower than what he was used to earning, right? He was earning probably six figures or something like that. And he was going to have to take a step down financially in order to make this career change. That's the only time I can see for sure that's being older is a disadvantage to switch into 3D. Because then if you've grown accustomed to a lifestyle, if you have certain amounts of debt from like your house or something, it might be harder to make that transition just from a financial standpoint. Because after all, it is a starting position normally that you're going to start in, right? And on top of that, depending on how well your previous career went, it's a step down. For some people, it's not going to be a step down. That's why I said it's not universal. So what we did was we did the research. He told me, like, in order for me to be able to work in games, I need to make X figure. He actually said like $75,000 a year, okay? Which is totally possible. However, once we did the research to find out what the entry level positions were, um, you know, all over the United States, we found out that like it's not realistic to expect 75K if the national average or like the average in all the different towns were lower than that. So he had to make a difficult decision of whether he continued to follow the 3D world, even though knowing that to work in it, he needed to take a step down in order to be entry level, or if he was going to put his family through that, right? That was the disadvantage. What we come up with a compromise though, which was continue working in oil and gas, continue training 3D, and start taking freelance on the side when you only have free time. And that way you're going to build up experience, build up a portfolio, so that when you do become full time in games, movies, whatever, you already have like 5 years of strong freelance work to back you up, and you don't have to go to entry level. You know, that was the compromise. Sorry, this is like a whole tangent, right? But like basically, age is not really a thing. It's more about like if you have lifestyle that you've already built for yourself and you want to change it, really. Because like if you're 19, you probably aren't stepping away from an oil and gas job. The knowledge is not free; it is given freely, luckily, but lots of hard work from the tutors of many combined years of blood and sweat and tears. Oh yeah, that's so true. In my case, I used the first versions of ZBrush and then stopped, and I have been basically come back this year, almost versions of 3D sculpting, since ZBrush has grown so much. It's overwhelming. Well, I mean, you still have a leg up on most people starting from scratch this year because you already knew a little bit. Do you have any go-to books when it comes to art design, stylized art tech, etc.? Um, so I have my favorite anatomy book, Anatomy for Sculptors. That's my favorite anatomy book. I have like you see behind me a ton of art books, a lot of them. Um, I have art books from different games, concept art. I really like the ones from Monster Hunter. I really like the ones from Evolve, things like that. They're just for inspiration mostly. um, but honestly, like a lot of, I would personally purchase art fundamentals books because if you purchase books about arts softwares or technology, they're going to become outdated. That's my that's my only thing. I'm old and also have no responsibilities. Well, in that case, it's perfect for you. It's where you want to be. So sometimes the older folks they actually have more um, experience with work ethic than the younger folks. So it could actually be a good thing. Or they could also have like 30 years of bad work ethic, and then you just, whoops. What was I working? Oh, the ears. More, slightly more horse-like shape. Ah. And oftentimes, like older folks have more money to invest into like hardware and things like I don't know though. I'm making a lot of assumptions. There's just pros and cons to both things. Never let your age dictate anything you're doing though, because old or young, like we only have so much time. We never know how much time is left, regardless. ZBrush R4 was the last version I used. I found it amazing. Right now, Acer Aspire. What tablet are you using? Right now I'm using Intuo's tablets. You never know how much time you have left. You weren't joking about things getting dark. I shouldn't change the name of my stream from positivity to darkness. Dark introspection. Shining a light on our shadows. Well, I'd say like maturity is a question of individual, right? Like it has nothing to do with age. Would you guys agree that like maturity at the end of the day has nothing to do with age? Let's get those shoulders somewhat put in. Although I don't have any reference for that, let's go ahead and find some. Um, Arabian horse. Just being realistic. Yeah. Oh, those are some good references actually, just in general. Why didn't I see these earlier? Okay. So just as a refresher, the goal was by the time I'm done with my 4-hour streams, by the way, I'm going to continue the stream on my personal channel in 20 minutes. Okay. Um, was to have a printable of this horse. We're gonna see. I mean, like you can print anything, right? Like I could print it as is if I wanted to. But I still have. I'm still not even halfway through the stream, so we're good. Oh god, just smoothing all the work. In my 50s and maturing like a fine wine, eternal optimist. I was reading a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Has anybody here ever heard of that book? He totally said that um, maintaining good thoughts and feelings could theoretically improve the expression of your genes. That's what he said. And he gave a bunch of scientific studies and things that back it up. supposedly. And, the first thing I felt when I read that was bad feelings because I realized that I'm a pessimist and I've been having bad feelings for many years. A lot of times, and so I'm like, shoot, whoopsie daisy. Apparently, epigenetics is a whole thing, and like, I need to learn more about it. I am going to have to find it now. Yeah, like when I went to school, like epigenetics wasn't a thing. I think as far as we got was like basically that different things in the environment can change the expression of certain genes, and that's it. We need to dynamesh these two together as soon as possible. It's an emergency. Um, and so yeah, so like this apparently new findings take it a little bit further, where it's like um where yeah, like the internal environments can also affect the expression of genes. My favorite book at the moment is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Oh, that sounds good actually. Yeah. I should read that one because I'm always yelling about that to the people in my mentorship. Do you guys want to block out the hair and stuff? Oh, and the horn, right? It's a unicorn. That's, we might as well block that out soon, I suppose. So I'm gonna go ahead and append a thunder. Why you got messed up a little bit. That that's why. Undo, undo, undo. Let's undo some stuff. That's why. Oh, you guys remember before they made a gizmo for ZBrush? I'm gonna go here, taper, little taper. Totally forgotten I was doing unicorn if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Got distracted by all of our quote realistic conversations. Arabian unicorn, yeah, right. I must admit, I was watching you create the shoulders and thinking that would be great as a collar and tie. Would look great in a collar and tie. Can I sculpt a companion Deadpool? Sure. I mean, no, actually, you're supposed to finish some other stuff. Let me, so I was telling you guys that I actually did a similar breed horse. I think it was the exact same breed, actually. On my very first stream here on the Pixelogic, or when it was the Pixelogic channel. And let me go find it real fast. I think it's somewhere here. I think I saved it. I might have. I don't know what I named it, though. was a long time ago, like on a whole other computer. It's definitely on my what do you call it? Instagram. Oh, here it is. And we should definitely wait. Let's fix up the eye situation real fast. Like, give me a moment. We're going to toy plastic that real fast. Toy plastic. Where is it? Ah, yeah, this was the very first model I ever made on this channel during a 3-hour stream, I think. Back when I was just learning how to stream. This is today's, which is faster. But we definitely, this was like basically one of the most stressful things I've ever done. This one right here. You can kind of tell by the sad eyes. BoJack Horseman's daughter. Yeah, I think that's what inspired this one actually. Hi Rita, how you doing? Okay, then we're gonna block out the hairs. I think I'm just going to kind of use extraction and just keep it simple for now. I'm gonna go down the center here. Yes. It was the most beautiful masking process ever. I make sure that I don't get anything like in the between areas here, like that would just be bad. And then we're gonna take off symmetry and just kind of choose one side to be the main hair area. And again, this is just a block out of the hair. It's going to be properly sculpted in later, maybe on the second part of the stream. Again, being careful not to go into this area, otherwise I'm just gonna get a bunch of extra bits in my extraction. Get rid of the whole thing, apparently, as part of the steps. Okay, and then I'm going to invert that. Check the other side for any issues. Make sure it's a nice clean mask as much as I can. Then extract, extract. Check the different sides. Okay, accept. Becomes its own mesh. I'm just going to smooth out these corners. Again, it's just a block out. Sometimes I have to lock the camera because I get a little aggressive with like my strokes. Accidentally painting on with materials as well. Lock that camera. Again, just the block out. Do not get concerned. Maybe a little spiral brush to distract from the mess. Spiral brush fixes everything, don't you agree? Thank you, Lou. So just so you guys know, I have a new streaming schedule, which actually has me streaming back to back 2 streams. The first one is here on this channel, and then the second one is actually on my own personal channel, Anna Carolina Arts. I'm gonna put the link to it in chat for you guys so you can get ready so that we can hop over to the next stream when it's time. I'm gonna hop over in 9 minutes or so. 11 minutes actually. Math not working. Do you work in the industry? I do. Boy, do I. Never not working. Can I ask what you do? Sure, of course. Um, so I am a person. I have to work on my elevator pitch because I do a lot. So basically, just to summarize, I am a professional technical artist in games, but especially in VR. Okay, I'm a VR developer. I am also a character artist. I currently, professionally, I teach at a college, so I'm a college professor. Do some freelance and also have my own business. Um, yeah, that summarizes it pretty good. So the hair is not done. The hair is just a blockout and like to just kind of give us the unicorny vibes that we're looking for here. Make sure symmetry's back on. And I'm gonna like make sure I'm planning for the whole stand situation, right? Like that'd be printable. That's the thing, like I don't have the most experience 3D printing stuff. You can see actually some of my 3D prints right here. No, none of them have stands. Like no stand, just a flat bottom with a hole in it. The only one that has a stand is this one, and it has also cat's knot on it. God damn it! And it's the stand is just literally a cylinder, a squashed cylinder. Um, so I have to, I guess, do some research. I am a person. I'm trying to become a professional character modeler, but I'm shitty at the retopology part. Well, I mean, like retopology is actually like not a lot of guesswork. Like there's a right way and a wrong way, and you just literally um find the information, like find something that guides you and then just follow it. Like literally you can get done. That's that's the beauty of your topology. It's like it's less subjective. Did you know that like lately people have been doubting my technical art career? Like that's a whole weird thing that I'm going through right now. Everybody doubts me. It's okay. I like that. I wish I knew how to draw with pen. I am left-handed. Oh, you can. I don't think being left-handed. I don't know. Like My tablet is completely symmetrical. I don't know, like maybe there's problems that I don't know about because I'm not left-handed. But like I feel like I could use it left-handed. I mean, I suck with my left hand, but like I'm using it. The only thing is that hitting Control Alt and stuff is a little harder, but fortunately the keyboard has that on both sides, so you can do Control Shift Alt on the right. I've got a goblin that I put many hours into. It's about 10 million polys for everything in the scene. Where would be the best place to start with that big a model? What do you mean best place to start? Start what? Pause it says I'm using Wacom left-handed. You just flip it and adjust the settings. I'll I that is a very interesting problem that I have not looked into. All I know is that like one of my students at the college, one of my freshmen was left-handed this semester, and every time I would try to go to his computer to like change something, like help him out, his mouse was on the other side for me, and I was like, "Oh!" every time, and then we like struggled together. Which apology, I've got the character clothes, armor, and attachments. I wouldn't say there's a best place to start. Like, start with whatever scares you the least, probably. Like, whatever piece looks the easiest. Start there. The little ones, get those out of the way. Start to feel good about yourself and your skills. Then the harder ones, and then finish up with clothes and faces and bodies. I guess clothes and body. I would probably do the body first before the clothes. So like easy stuff, body, and then clothes. But like this isn't a logical order of things. Like this isn't because everybody starts with the easy and then goes to the hard. No, that's not at all. Because like there's real no real order to this. Like just retop whatever needs to be retopped, right? Like nobody cares if you start bottom up or up down. But I do find that with my mentorship, it can sometimes help to build momentum on scary tasks. So like if you don't like retop or if you're insecure around retop, then do the easy stuff first, build up that momentum to the hard stuff. Left-handed people use their right hand about 8% more than right-handed users their left. Can I show you? You can send it in my Discord, and if I have time, I'll take a look, but I can't promise right now because I've been really busy lately. But I would love to see it, like, at the very least, like, look at it, and if I notice anything that's, like, specifically that I should mention, I will, okay? What's the difference between ZBrush and ZBrush Core? So ZBrush Core is a more um, simplified version of ZBrush. I believe you can still, like, all the tools are still there to make beautiful 3D models, just like some of the operations and things like that are maybe not present. I don't know exactly what is available in ZBrush Core compared to normal ZBrush, so to speak. But ZBrush Core is a lot cheaper and easier to get started in. But if you look on the ZBrush website, you'll be able to see exactly all the differences, including the cost, prices, and all of that. Posted awesome. Okay. So, in about 2 minutes or so, I'm going to start streaming on my own personal channel on YouTube and Twitch, Anna Carolina Arts. I'm going to share the link with you guys. Um, I'm going to try to finish this on there. So I'm going to make the flowers, kind of refine the block out and all of that on that channel. And then on that channel, we do have like a very laid back kind of culture, and we have a lot of fun. And um, let's see what else is on that channel. Every week, I do a challenge on my Discord server where we basically it's a my assistant picks a theme for the week, and then everybody does art for the challenge. So if you ever want to participate on the next challenge, you can join my Discord server, and we can have some fun there. And there are prizes, and I'm actually going to announce the winner of this week's challenge as soon as we start the other stream. So I'm very excited for that. But I'm so excited. Hopefully, I do finish this. What do you guys think? Do you think I have it in me? Think I can finish tonight? Oh, I hope I do. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this stream. I'm continuing on my personal channel, Anna Carolina Arts. I've just posted the link in chat for you guys. I stream both on Twitch and YouTube, so you can go to whatever one you like. All right. I will see you guys back here maybe next Sunday if you don't want to come to my channel. Maybe in 5 minutes on my channel. It's up to you. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure to follow the ZBrush Live channel. It's a channel where I think like almost hundreds of artists stream here. You know, like a lot of artists stream here. It's an awesome community. You can learn so much. So definitely follow this channel. All right.